in the United States. We'll get to that in just a moment. But going back to these arrests here, is it the time for that right now? Are they still trying to control the narrative on that? Or do you see this all breaking out at the same time as the list that you've put up there at the beginning of the show? What do you think, Richard?
I think the biggest thing that's going to happen right now as we get warm, and I believe it starts now, is that we're actually going to witness the sleeping cells that we talked about 4 years ago. And I think that's going to get big. Listen, how do I want to say this? Going way back when Playboy was doing their thing, the bunny ranchers and all that, you understand that was a controlled situation. All right. Yep. Well, the Epstein, I got that was all controlled by a group of people that are actually in war now. I don't really need to say who, but I think you all know. And unfortunately, there's a lot of, government officials that are under their control because of things that they've done.
Compromised.
Even the nicest guy could be set up and compromised. Okay. It's listen, I don't even know if I should say this. It's like
we don't need to go.
Witness,
like you can tell where you want.
We're going to witness a lot of. Do you remember way back where I had a vision of, it was like an old Frankenstein movie, and these people were carrying pitchforks. This was go back 5 years. It was in black and white, and I said, they're going to get. I'm just going to use this facetiously. They know where the mayor is. They know where this person is. So it's all political. That we're going to see political assassinations all over the place, and this has to do with, unfortunately, so many people have been compromised that we're going to see this tied into. And I'm really trying to be careful. See, we go, well, Rumble, we could get away with everything, right? They're not watching because all the other guys are. So it's a dangerous ship you're sailing. And you know that, I give you guys a lot of credit. A lot of people don't realize that you and Cliff, people put themselves on a limb, and but I know that's all tied in. And the problem is there's such a division now. Yeah, what else is going to light the fire? So think about this. If you immediately started, what the hell do you think would happen? So it's got to be done in a very passive way. Is that the correct wording? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe one dropping at a time type thing, where if you got the whole list sitting in front of you, if we grab all these people, what do you think is going to happen? Every city will end up burning down. Right.
And it wasn't the WebBot data, because last year, I think the last show I did with Cliff was November, December, and he had pulled out some of the data for 2025. I'm curious how that starts. Let me just bring this one up here too. Like the P. Diddy trial in the last couple of days seems to suggest that maybe they're kind of like watering it down. Maybe they're trying to not raise our expectations, but still something is going to come out of it. But I've seen a lot of people this week saying, hey, motherfucker, if they're watering this down and they're going to let this guy off the hook, like people are pissed and they're mad. Like that anger you just described is already boiling in the background. Let me ask you, Joe, do you think that this is a catalyst to something here? We're just, on the verge of having this ruling here. We haven't heard anything else from Pam Bondi in terms of other arrests, but how does that tie into your field of view? And also the fact that silver has been acting up in the last couple of weeks, and all of the psychics around the world have been telling us that, when silver breaks free of its chains of manipulation, is because this stuff is breaking free, the adrenochrome networks and all that stuff. So where are we on this front? How do you tie that in, Joe?
Well, I always know there's big things to take your eyes off of other things. So nothing happens by chance. If there's a ruling or the jury deliberations, all that nonsense, it's typically going to happen to take your eyes off of something else. And I don't know what that something else is just yet, but it could very well be something that's about to happen, or maybe the Pam Bondi thing where she's going to unleash incredible information, and then look over here, the Diddy thing. I had the weirdest dream a while back that there were people who helped him escape during a prison transfer or something, or like when he was going to court along the way or something. I don't know where he was being brought to, and people popped up out of nowhere, a bunch of people, and like basically prison broke him out of the vehicle. And I thought, man, that just must be a silly dream. I don't know about that, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I mean, if they whitewash it and he walks anyways, there's no need to do a prison break.
Yeah.
But I do remember in that dream, like Trump was there, like basically showing everybody, look, we got this guy under my presidency, like he was proud of getting this guy, at least up to that point. But then Diddy kind of stood up in the back of the car, like defiant and like, look at me. And then all these people popped out and helped him escape. So I was like, I don't know what I'm seeing here exactly, but if he gets let loose through the courts, not guilty, whatever, then none of that makes sense. But if he is found guilty and he says, okay, well, I'm not doing any jail time, and when he leaves that court, someone breaks him free or a bunch of people break him free, that would be one hell of a thing that I saw if that actually happens like that. But back to your question, though, I think whatever's going to happen is going to be designed to take your eyes off of something more important. Again, possibly the Pam Bondi thing or Dan Bongino and those guys releasing something hellacious. And we need a big event and now. And
can I ask you guys, like, just a couple of weeks ago, we had all the truthers out there drumming up all this fear that we're going to have riots in 17 cities and, in this one event thing. And, we're seeing the pallets of bricks being lined up and like the stuff we've seen before there with BLM and all that in the last couple of years. And when Janine was reading on that, she's like, yeah, no, take it off a notch. Like this parade for Trump, the army parade anniversary is going to go well. There's some comms there with him planting the 2 flags there on this captured territory. You can get into that in a moment. But it seemed that as soon as Trump called in the army, not just the National Guard, but also the Marines at some point, all of this went away like in a flash. They're arresting people, the people who were bringing in the masks and the bricks. And they also announced this investigation on who was funding the damn thing. So it stopped it really, really quick. Now, going back to these sleeper cells, do you think that Trump and the administration is ahead of those guys like they were with the No Kings and the rest of these like little amateur rioters that were let loose in the last number of years without check? Or do you think that maybe we are in trouble with these sleeper cells and we don't know where they're coming from? Joe first and then Richard.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, Trump and all, they probably know all about this well in advance. Yeah, the borders are open. The borders are open. Again, I think all this is by design because if you got a Trump in the vision that Woo Dude saw him around a big table, Congress is not needed at this time. He's making decisions with other people.
Yeah.
Not normally. They're not needed at this time. The Congress, where'd they go? Well, they're not there. Yeah. So in order to bring in a situation like that, boy, you've got to have some major things happening in your country where you kind of put the whole Constitution on hold. So you let these things happen with some control behind it, and then you deal with it. You put these fires out, so to speak, that you already knew were here. Oh, I can't blame him now. He's senile, blah, 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 this and that, all this nonsense. But problem, reaction, solution, whether you're the good guys or the bad guys. But I'd rather the good guys be in control of that situation than the bad guys. So I do think they're real. The sleeper cells on it's definitely real. But
and you, Richard, do you think that the Trump administration is ahead of it the same way they were with these little, rioters, or is there a bigger problem ahead of us here?
There's a bigger problem ahead of us.
Okay.
Do I think they've got some of them? Probably. Okay. Yeah, I do. But I think there's far more than what we anticipated. And because when I had that vision way back then, it wasn't one group of people. Okay. And what I kept getting is, even though what you just brought up on the screen about the Iranians want this to happen, I really do believe that other groups may do it to make it look like they did it. So it's just gonna.
It's funny you say that. There was a
There's
gentleman.
too many. There's too many here.
There's a gentleman we decoded, I forget his name now, earlier in the week, who was suggesting that exactly that something was going to happen in the States. The anonymous group came out 2 weeks ago of a retaliatory attack by Iran. Also, there was a there in the cards, meaning that that there's something to look into. It wasn't being dismissed, or wasn't a movie card type of situation. And in his scenario, he said that at the same time they would do that, that it would also bring out maybe false information, but information that would put Trump in a bad light, so to speak, to remove his base of support, or the remaining base of support that might have, as he was struggling here in the last couple of weeks, only to come back later. So all of this is kind of in the mix, and everybody's like, what the fuck is really going on? And now, to add to all of this, now they're erecting these barricades in Washington, D.C. I just mentioned that Trump had planted these 2 flags here on the north and south lawn here at the White House, suggesting that perhaps DC is now a captured or recaptured territory. That's why the military was there in force. That suggests then that if that's the case, and that's kind of what we were decoding here, that was actually done in the past, and we're slowly being let in on the legalities of the change here of this city-state, which was Washington, D.C. So that means that July 4th is probably a big day here moving forward for many reasons, not just a celebration here, but perhaps a change in our Constitution, in a way or understanding who has actual power here in the United States. Let's talk about that, Richard. Where do you think that ties into the narrative of July 4th, and why are some people now suggesting that July 4th could be the date where they're releasing? This was just a video, but he was on Joe Rogan as well, and I think on Nino Rodriguez yesterday, saying that, and that this would set off some type of martial law kind of situation. Whether that's a white hat or black hat controlled operation here, we seem to be heading into really, really tumultuous times. Richard, you first, and then I'll get back to Joe. What do you think's going on?
Okay, first of all, with the flag, you hit it, because when that happened, I just wanted to look, and I go, why did he do this? And I felt that the White House has been recaptured, and there's no more back doors here. Okay, It's kind of like planting your flag. Okay, now it's changing. That's what I got from that. Okay,
and don't forget, folks, for the people who haven't seen it, that is also the day. Let me see if I can go back here. Right here, Trump is talking to the gentleman next to him. He says, oh, yeah, I went from being the hunted to now being the hunter. That was a hot mic moment. So a big change here in the power struggle at that point. Keep going, Richard. I just want to put that on record.
I believe that was showing that there's no more back doors here. I've recaptured up here. Now we're going to have to go outwardly. But the White House is a very serious thing, and they know who everybody is now. And they're all going to get caught in one thing or another into another. And I just think you're going to see people retiring all over the freaking place and leaving. But I really do believe, as the danger continues with the cells, that I do believe we will find certain areas. Do I think the whole country will immediately go into martial law? I don't believe that. But what I think is individual areas. And I believe that these strikes will, you know how we go, well, this is a sleeping town out here, I think this is, we're all looking at the big city. I think we'll start seeing it all over the place in other areas, and it's just going to expand outwardly. And I do believe that we're going to have that issue. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that tie in, Joe? Let me get you to chime in on this. Does that tie into perhaps Trump making some type of announcement with respect to the financial system? Because one should go hand in hand with the other. And just a couple of days ago, Trump was out, and everybody kind of was slack-jawed on mainstream media news outlets when he said Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are the most important industry, or words to that effect. And everybody's like, wait, what did he just say? So is he suggesting here, is he bringing in perhaps a new Fed chair? There's rumors that he's going to be replaced, Powell, by Judy Shelton, maybe some other gold bugs here. But what's going on also? How do you tie in the financial system to all of this, and perhaps announcement that could be just around the corner here on July 4th, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, the more problems you present, the better you can get them done and over with. So again, we're dealing with sleeper cells, and all of a sudden the stock market goes wonky, cyber attacks start happening, bank account problems, all the problems that cyber attacks can have, can make happen. And then you have crypto sneaking in the back door, so to speak, or some reason that becomes obvious. Again, maybe it's the hacking and cyber attacks that push it and propel it forward rapidly, whereas they couldn't quite do it as rapidly if they didn't have a reason to do it that way. That's a possibility. I've never had a dream or anything about like the scenario like that. Just, I just know that crypto's here to stay, and that's where we're moving forward. Again, we're big fans of XRP, and I think it's going to have its day in the sunlight.
Dude, if you didn't watch the show last week, Dick Allgaier and company, they did a remote viewing on XRP recently again, and their new price target was $7 or $8 or maybe $9. I think that the TA stuff with Marty Hibbs was still around the $6 mark, which is still phenomenal. You guys, both of you were talking about that at 20 cents. Like, that's absolutely crazy. But they were talking about maybe $8, $9 here. I think as soon as the fall of this year. Don't quote me on that, but go check his readings there at the futureforecastinggroup.com. Now, in terms of the financial stuff, Joe, we have two things that have yet to happen. While Elon Musk was there, we're having all of these rumors about the Federal Reserve being audited and also Fort Knox with the gold. Just last week, we had Italy, Germany, I think another country frantically announcing that they are repatriating the rest of their gold from the New York Fed. So something is happening there. Had Andy Scheckman on the show as well, showing us the true numbers of how the central banks are accumulating gold at a rapid pace over the last 3 years, but even more now in the last couple of months. Something is just around the corner here, perhaps with this gold revaluation fund that everybody keeps talking about. Where are you on that and your dreams with that? And also, for the audience's sake, do you still see perhaps that 80% retrenchment of Bitcoin here before we get to that next level of Bitcoin at the new all-time highs? Or are we past that trouble or turbulent water?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I had that dream. I don't know the exact month or whatever. It's probably earlier in the year, maybe January. It could have been December of last year. And Would told me, stop asking for crypto stuff. That you'll get it when they want to give it to you. So I was okay. And then I wasn't asking. I just had a dream, and I saw the Bitcoin giant red candlestick all the way, going way down. Huge drop from current prices, like disgusting. And that was the end of it. Okay, got it. So I remember Julianne giving me a reading a while back last year, and she mentioned the decimal point going this way, and then one after that, it's going to go one the other way, and or one this way and two the other way, or whatever it was. And it's like, okay, well, we've got the one decimal point already. So when's that coming down? It's got to happen. So, are we going to have $6, $7, $8, $9 XRP first, and then a giant crash? I have no proof, but I would think no. I think we'd have a quick. Maybe, again, blame it on a cyber attack, a glitch, something to just wipe everything out real quick one time fast, and then, okay, release. And then all of a sudden it just goes ape shit. Right. I feel like that's probably what will happen, but I can't say for sure.
I think when Dick Allgaier saw it, he said it could be, was it him or was it Janine? There was a 2 involved, either 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks, but it's not long lived.
2.
Yeah. Right?
Imagine that. Yeah. So
what's the odds?
Right. Somebody's asking in the chat, JC, did you listen to Tori by any chance? Joe, apparently she was doing something.
I was listening, but I had to get off before that. So if you guys want to write it in the comments, tell us like briefly what she said about the wall and the financial system, whatever.
That'll be interesting to bring up. Okay, next segment I wanted to bring up with you guys here. We're already 48 minutes into the show. Is this ET stuff that's coming up? So we had this weird flight tracker thing going across Europe the other day, where some item was moving like way faster than all the planes. People were wondering what that was. Richard talked at the beginning of the show that we are going to soon see Iran's true technology. On that note, if you guys were following Carrie Cassidy, she put up something on her Substack the other day saying exactly the same, that so far they've been reluctant to use this technology, but at a certain point, when push comes to shove, they might be forced to use it. And apparently both Iran and the US has it, but of course they don't want to display that yet. That's kind of like the last card effort, but we could be very close to that moment. So we had these weird things happening in Europe and also in your neck of the woods, Joe, just in the last couple of days, these weird orbs also flying around in Miami. Let me ask you first, Richard, in terms of spirits, downloads, messaging, where are you on this echo of the New Jersey drones last fall and how that could be tying into the situation of these absolutely astronomical high emotional tension values here coming into July? Is this more like official them? Just last week or 2 weeks ago, the Pentagon came up with another video that they had just released now. Not the TikTok video, that's the old one, but a brand new one, disc saucer shaped kind of thing. Still was mainly ignored by the mainstream news, but still, is it coming from them? Or are we actually being hit and visited here in July that perhaps by a whole bunch of stuff that we're not aware of? And that's why all these officialdoms around the world are freaking out and why they're putting all this money into this Golden Dome situation. What do you think, Richard?
Well, that's interesting. I'll start with what you just threw at me last, is when the Golden Dome was talked about, I looked into that. And it's not what you think. All right. We all think it's for the missiles. It's not. It's for the incoming meteors and all that bullshit that's going to be coming in. And everybody's in a hurry to get that technology. All right. So it's a catch-22. Will it help with missiles? Yep. But it's also going to be to protect us from this trash that's going to be hitting us.
Can I ask you quickly on that note before you go too far?
Yeah.
Trump, when you parse his press conference, the words that he was uttering, he said, "Oh, and I want this dome to be up and running by the end of my term." My gut feeling and Janine's feeling was it was already running. Where are you on that and the technology and the other countries, and perhaps why Trump is making all these deals with tariffs and counter tariffs right now is to get everybody on board to chip in with this thing that's already up and paid for? What do you think?
Again, what I really believe is that they started this probably about 10 years ago, okay, and they've been working their ass off. So even before Trump, okay, that they've been doing this, and now they're bringing it out in the open. Because listen, when you start seeing all this shit hitting our planet, you're going to be wondering. So bringing out, saying, well, this is what this is for, you don't want people freaking out. Now, the other thing is, and I've told all my people that, and I probably said it to you guys, I can't see past 2027. And I've never had problems with that. It's like there's this black wall, and it's one of two things. And I tell everybody, I said, either it's so big and they can't tell me because I got a big mouth, okay, which I'm hoping that's what it is, or I'm not existing anymore. It's one or the other. But in 2027, it's monstrous, whatever it is, because they're not allowing me to look beyond it. It's like I get there, but I can't go beyond it. So
Penny Kelly had that a couple of years ago, but she was calling it the white wall. You remember, Joe? We were doing interviews with her, and she couldn't see. I think it was 2020, 2021. I forget the timing of it, but she had that same issue. And at the same time, Dick Algary told me the same thing. He was getting, what did he call it? Not the new luminosity event, but something that was so bright it was preventing them from looking at something. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my issue with that. And I've tried. And I just go, you know what? When they want me to open up my mouth about it, I'm sure they're gonna let me see it. Know. I know it's really, really big.
Yeah.
Whatever this thing is, and it could be related to anything. And this is the thing. When you say shit like this, people always think the worst. Stop. It could be something incredibly great. Yeah. And if they open it up now, that powers to be could actually stop that from occurring. Yeah. So I'm so optimistic on everything. I've seen so much, over the last 15 years or 20 years with visions. I've given you a lot of stuff. And the thing is why am I still so optimistic? because I know there's some sort of an intervention. I don't understand it all, but there is. But do I believe that the United States is going to be punished right now? Absolutely. I said it with the eclipse. And Israel is going to get pummeled. Boom. It is what it is. It's going to spare out. But watch NATO. And I wanted to touch bases really quick where you were talking about the cryptos. All right. It's going to come in quickly, and this is why. Europe's really going to push it. Okay. Now we're trying to push it because basically the dollar in the Swiss system is not going to be working the way it should be in any manner. So there's going to be other ways to do it. So we're pushing it for that reason, for the trade, and also when you pump it up to get rid of deficits. A good reason. But when it really takes over, you're going to see it starting to happen really quick. It's going to happen in Europe. And the reason they're going to do it is not the same as ours. There is to control capital. And that goes back right before the war, when I got out of the hospital and I had all those damn visions. And one of them was, I said, this is before the war. I said, oh my God, Putin's going after NATO. And there was no war, right? What are we seeing now? It's NATO. So a mistake's going to happen there. I'm waiting for
and by the way, Zelensky was wearing a suit at NATO this time.
Oh, shit. Now we're getting real serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Did you see that woman that was on there? Some higher up goes for an interview. Eyes roll back.
That was Giorgia Meloni, the Italian prime minister. Oh, is she on coke or crack? What the hell just happened to her? Like,
well,
that was weird.
It seems like coke is the happening thing around
here. Yeah, that was weird. Let me go back quickly while I have you on about the ET stuff. In this particular radar, let me see if I can pinpoint it again here, but there's this huge kind of explosion over Alabama. You'll see it on the screen here in just a second. And there you go, bang.
Wow.
What they're saying here, of course, in the community notes, oh, that's just one of the radar thingies having a glitch and it was turned off, blah, 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 blah. When I looked at that, I thought, oh, maybe that's energy from space, one of those big sprites, like those crazy, how you call them, lightning bolts, groups of lightning bolts, or perhaps something else that just happened here where we might have had intervention for whatever was coming down, not actually hit Alabama, but it was captured on all of these radars here. Just gut feeling, maybe you haven't heard this story. What do you think, Richard?
I haven't heard anything. The second you just flashed it, the thing that came to me, that's a plasma discharge.
So I was thinking plasma, the sprites there, but I'm assuming that's a very similar phenomena. Lots of energy at any rate. I wouldn't want to be in a plane up there while that's happening. Now, going back to what you just said about the Earth changes and what's coming in from the sky, for the last 2-3 years, you've been talking about these meteors. Is that like, are we in it now this summer?
You're not going to get up. We're not. There's no way around it. When I gave you guys those pictures 6, 7, 8 years ago when I was driving my vehicle, and then they told me what was going to happen. They said, in this time, there'll be war everywhere, which is starting to be, not really, but it's coming. But the weather would start going erratic, and it would go from one extent to the other and really, really bad. And water. But then they said that we're going to, these incoming planets that are rotating around this other object are coming in and out. That's what's reacting with the sun and creating its problem. Now, this goes way back, okay? And they told me that there was no way around it. They said, there is no planet hitting yours. That is not happening. That's wrong. But they said, there's no way out that these planets are pulling debris with them, and we're going to go through them. So,
and it's also causing friction and discharges and all that stuff.
Well,
and weather and
debris.
Yeah, and Mount Etna also just blew up there a couple of weeks ago.
Wonderful.
So all of this is tying in.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Let me ask you open question. Yeah, we're already at the hour marker almost. Joe, before we went into the show here tonight, was anything on your radar specifically that you think, let's talk about this tonight, JC? Let's at least cue into the audience members, perhaps a piece of the puzzle or a piece that's on your radar right now. What do you think is important for them to know here tonight?
Just more about stocking up on goods. That guy, Brandon from Last Days channel, he's got a number of prophecies that he gets from God. and he's just got a hell of a track record now. And he just did a video today or yesterday about, oh, God showed me beef shortages. And I go, well, or my dream, I was at Publix supermarket. I got a bag of steaks. They couldn't give me a price. They had to like weigh it on the spot and go, okay, here's the price right now. And it was expensive and we didn't have any. So we're like, well, it's been a while since we had some. Well, let's just pay for it. We have the money. So let's do it. And we made the decision to do it, you know, and then I had to dream about the orange. That was $10 for one organic orange, you know? So I just think like any crisis, when it hits, you know, my buddy Frank I used to work with used to always tell me, oh, I've got a keyword. When I call my wife or text her with that keyword, she knows to drop everything she's doing. If she's at work, doesn't matter. Go to the grocery store and get this stuff. I said, Frank, if you see something that makes you give her your keyword, what do you think everybody else is
how many other
without
people?
A keyword?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to steal her stuff in a heartbeat. I said, you got to get that stuff now. Don't wait. But again, if we're going to buy steaks now, I mean, you could freeze them. If you got a freezer, you know, and potentially a generator, because we're going to have power problems. You know, all your steak goes bad because the freaking power's out for too long or something. But yeah, just my message is make sure you've stocked up on some stuff, you know, for at least a good couple of months, I would think, minimally. You know, we've always talked about have your gold, silver, crypto, some cash. Yeah, that's important. But I think having food to where you can stay at home when shit's getting crazy or whatever the reason is, or things are so expensive, we'll have to start eating into our stash now. Great. That's why you got it. Again, you could buy a giant can of tuna fish and all kinds of stuff right off of Amazon and bring it right to your house.
Yep.
You know, it's great. So that's really my only message. I do want to mention that guy had said about Tori. He said she didn't really get specific about the wall in DC other than it is not for protest. It's for something else. And she couldn't say what. So
be interesting to see in the next couple of days. All right.
Yeah.
I'll ask Richard for last words, but first let's give away some prizes before we go. Joe, do you want to give away a cool Beyond Mystic special edition EMF hat? These are lined with silver, guys. Way better than the tinfoil hats. And they're fashionable. Let's give this away. Of course, this is from Carl at Ascension Organites. If you guys are interested in those, go to ascensionorganites.com. Use the coupon code Beyond Mystic in one word. You'll get 10% off there. And also, I think she has the July 4th celebration on 50% off on, again, for Shungite protection here, the Beyond Mystic logo pendulum as well, pendant, as well as the Sending Ravens pendant on sale at 50% off, including also this Liberty pyramid. So check that out. That's for the 4th of July sale here at ascensionorganites.com. Joe, question for the audience members to give away the cap here tonight. What do you think? Something
no
easy?
question. Just write EMF, and I'm going to say
when to stop.
3, 2, 1, stop, or whatever.
Right. Cool. While we wait for that to populate, Joe, people are in the live chat here. Tell us about what we can find here on Realist News or Jason 4 here on your Patreon. You have 3 subscription packages. Lots of craziness happening in crypto right now. How can you support them here on your Patreon, Joe?
Yep. Just got my standard JSNIP 4 woo-woo one for $20 a month. We talk about some of the crypto stuff, some of my dream stuff, things like that. If you want the other package, like that's $40 or whatever, the elite package, sometimes people, I've actually had 2 or 3, actually 3, I think, portfolio reviews recently. People wanted me to look at their coins and, you know, see if they need to make any changes or whatever. If someone had a problem with their wallet, they're asking me about, you know, it gives you, you know, direct access to me to send me a private message. I'll get back to you, you know, and try to help you the best I can, that kind of thing.
Very good. Guys, check it out. Patreon.com/JasonIp4, and the links are in the description box below. Joe, let me know when to stop the feed here.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, stop.
Rosie Thorn 8847. Congratulations, you're a winner of the cap. Just send me an email here at Beyond Mystic, top of the page at beyondmystic.net. Fill out the support form there, and we'll have Carla send that out to you. Congratulations. The next gift for tonight is this amazing bundle here. Where did it go? By Florenin Farms. This one here, the Summer Light Alchemy bundle. These are the new amazing organic soaps, all natural, no chemicals. Absolutely amazing. So if you're looking at getting chemicals out of your body here, please do try her soaps. They're absolutely amazing. You can find those at floralinfarm.ca. There, the coupon code is BM10. I'll give you 10% across the board. But tonight, we're giving away this amazing Light Alchemy bundle. Richard, do you have a question here for the audience members to give that one away? Something easy with one word.
That looks like really nice stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to do it easy like Joe. Okay, so we don't have to think. And I'm all about everywhere we go out there to light a candle. And that means to tell people very good things, whatever they're doing, be nice. You're lighting a candle, we're trying to change the vibration. And if you light one candle every single day with people that you meet by being kind to them. So the words are light a candle.
Light a candle. So guys in the live chat, light a candle is the code to win. While we wait for that to populate and to choose a winner, of course, you can find Woo Dude at woowoodude.com. Richard, what does the session look like for people who want to book with you and want to have insights into their life, maybe their trajectory for this year, or just trying to understand how and what the hell is going on this planet? What does a typical 1 hour session look like with you here at woowoodude.com?
When you say, what does it look like? It changes so rapidly, as you know, JC. I see that smile. It's, go to the site and book if you can. And all I can say is, if you don't see something there, keep looking, because people have got things come up. So people have got to change the dates. And I'm going to be doing what I'm calling pop-ups. So out of the blue, I'm just adding more time for people, especially considering the things that are going to be going up. So I'm going to consistently add, just here you go. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a very, very strange time, and all of us here are trying to work together to bring in this change. You're not going to stop it. It's all part of this change of humanity. We've got to go through it for the better things. Yeah. And flow with this, flow with the energy.
Guys, check it out, woowoodude.com, and refresh the page from time to time as more dates will be popped up, as Richard says here. Okay, Richard, let's find a winner here. Let me go back to the live screen. Let me know when to stop the feed there, Richard.
Stop.
Light a candle, lazy to rumble. There you go.
That's a good name, lazy to rumble. I like that.
I like that. Congratulations. Again, just send me an email at the top of the page of beyondmystic.net, and we'll get Aline to send you this amazing alchemy bundle for you. And if you guys, of course, are interested in all of these amazing soaps, again, floralinfarm.ca is the link to be. Last but not least, the summer sale here for these 77-page Astro e-calendar. This is created by Meg, our in-house astrologer, and Sunny. Right now, you can buy those at 15% off here with code SUMMER50. We're going to be giving away one of these calendars here so that you can better plot with all of these astrological alignments here this year and your life. Navigating through all of these events here. So please do go check it out. You can find those at the scorplingshop.com is the website address. There you go. Okay, it's been a long day, guys. So as I wait for that to give away, the code for that one is going to be Astro Calendar. So if you guys want to write that into the live chat, I will pick a winner here in just a moment. And in the meantime, please, I encourage you also to go check out the Academy, where Meg right now has her beginner's guide to astrocartography workshop on sale here. This is the 50% discount code this week. It's steep discount if you guys want to try that. She is coming out with part 2 of this astrocartography workshop very soon. So if you hadn't seen part 1, now's the time to check it out. And also, if you feel that life is going too fast right now and things are changing too quickly, take a breath. You might want to take the Shamanic Breathwork Part 2 workshop here with Sylvia. Just launched today, of course. The code there is BREATH10. That will give you 10% off there as well. Very important here to control your breathing in all of these crazy times here of ours. So you can find those at beyondmystic.academy. And let's pick a winner here. Let me go to the bottom of the chat. Let me know, Joe, when to stop the feed.
3, 2, 1, stop.
Stop. There you go. Astro Calendar Kala004. You're the winner. Please go send me an email there, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. Before we end the show, and congratulations, all the winners. Thank you so much for supporting us. And don't forget also, if you want to support us, yes, We are going on vacation here next week, but in the meantime, if you want to binge watch, now's the time to get the Insider Access Pass. It's on sale at 50% off. This is the annual 50% off sale here in July. Summer 50 is the code. I think you have 2 days left just before July 1st here. Before that ends, you have access to all of the shows here on the network, as well as priority seating and also live recording with us, so you can ask questions when we're recording all of the shows here on pay-per-view. So check it out at beyondmystic.net. Richard, before we go, last words of wisdom. All this change, a lot of fear. You mentioned something very important earlier. You said, there's a lot of weird shit coming up, and people go negative right away. Doesn't have to be that way. We are still, Joe, you and I, very cautiously optimistic, but optimistic nonetheless about everything that's going here. There is an intervention, and there is a huge awakening happening at the same time. What's your advice here on how to navigate perhaps some of those dread feelings that we're all feeling? We're all humans from time to time. How do we get through that and anchor in that light and that positive energy and lighting up that candle moving forward, Richard?
Yeah, well, think about it like this. Life's a journey. Well, so your journey is obstacles that you go through your whole life. And the whole key is when an obstacle comes up to you, you learn how to go around. Well, how are you doing that? Because you're following the energy. Flow with the changes. Don't try to stop it, because you're not going to be able to. Flow with this, okay? And adapt to what is happening. And, we look at a tunnel of light in front of us, and you can see that little light, and you want to run towards it because I'm going to get out of here quicker. Listen, just keep walking through it, because every step forward, you're coming out of it, even though it looks like there's a distance. We've got to go through this change of humanity. We are going to evolve. We have to. We've reached that pinnacle of time, and it's actually an incredible time to be alive. Okay, but stay in the game. All right, this is the best game of flashlight tag you've ever been in. Stay in the freaking game. There's nothing worse when your mother says, it's 6 o'clock, it's time to come home. But Mom, the flashlights are just working,
I'm still playing with my friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, you'll have a lot to talk on the other side. Yeah. Don't fear that. Just walk forward into it and make your adjustments. Doesn't mean to go crazy and take a sharp turn. Go around it, keep going, and adjust your life as you need to. That's your journey of life. How many of us have looked and said, well, this is the way my life is going to be? How'd that work out for you?
Right.
It doesn't. It's adjustments so you become who you're going to become for this incredible time that we're going through, that we have to be lifted up. It really is incredible. It really is. So I'm optimistic. It is what it is. Smile, but try to live every moment. Live in the now. Don't live in yesterday. Mm-hmm. Don't wait for tomorrow. Enjoy every moment you can, because it's beautiful. When you slow your life down, all of a sudden you start appreciating everything. You just do. The beauty of everything. It's really, we live in a beautiful world if you just stop and look, and I think so many people they get in the habit of running and running and running. It's like, slow the hell down here and take a look at the things you've been passing. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Great advice. Yes. Great words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Richard. And yes, Joni B, this show is a definite rewatch. Thank you for that comment. Thank you so much for everyone watching this evening. Please leave us a like button as you leave the show, and stay tuned for the next one. And everybody's wishing me a happy holiday. I'm not gone yet, guys. Don't forget, tomorrow night I will be back on with Janine at 8 o'clock Eastern here on Rumble for a live public show for you guys here before we take our holiday break. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This was the Wacky Woo for today, Sunday, June 29th. Love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
That was a quick call.